Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to our channel. So today we are presenting you a new video on a existing playlist that we have on system design. As you can see or browse through our channel, so we have different playlists going on and we are bringing you the content for different playlists as well, which are related to AI, system design, agentic AI, microservices, and work related stuff, which will help you upskill yourself in your current job and find a new job or maybe create a new product also. So this video is about system design playlist series where we're going to be discussing about the reverse proxy and the API gateway, when to use which one and when not to use, and which are the use cases, considering a use case, how we can use reverse proxy there and how we can use the API gateway. So without further ado, let's get to the video. And if you like our videos, if you like our content, do subscribe to our channel so that it helps us bring you new quality content as well. And if you feel it more meaningful to share as well, share with your group as well going forward. Okay, so here we're going to be discussing about the reverse proxy and the API gateway. So I'm going to document all those things which I'm writing as and I go along. So this is a free flowing activity that we are doing. So do acknowledge or do note these activities down as and we are when we are flowing down. Okay, so let's document some points first of all for reverse proxy. What is actually reverse proxy and when you should use it? So first of all, we let's get to the definition. So reverse proxy is nothing but your general purpose traffic officer, which is actually primarily responsible for routing the traffic, managing the basic security checks, which happens at the front gate, and the performance of the web applications also. This is the basic definition of proxy, reverse proxy that we have. Now, this is not a definition, I would say, but these are capabilities. Now, whichever basic system which has these capabilities, we categorize that as reverse proxy. So let me write those points. It's a traffic router. Sorry, it's a traffic router. Then the basic security. Then you have performance. So these are the basic three things which reverse proxy is doing for you. So these are capabilities, I would say. So any system who can do these capabilities or who can actually make these capabilities for your system, that is nothing but a reverse proxy who is actually routing the request to your system actually. So let's deep dive into it one by one for each of them and just understand what are these. So now let's think about traffic routing. So if you have, let's say, a web application and let's say you have different locations from where you operate. This is the first use case. So different regions or different locations. Okay. And then you have different, I would say, web app servers also. So you can count this one or separate or whatever. So then you have different APIs being hosted on different machines or different containers. Now, first of all, you need to route the traffic, right? So, let's say your user is from region A and your application is deployed into region B, and you want to, let's say, route them to appropriate, let's say, server or let's say region wherever you have deployed or availability zone, whatever you want to call it. So, reverse proxy will actually diverge your traffic to different available locations of your servers wherever it is hosted. So that way it will help you in terms of routing the traffic. So this is the first very basic example of it. So as I think you may have understood, so this is kind of load balancing your application. And the same thing goes on for your APIs which are being hosted. So let's say now your APIs are being hosted in different machines, different, I would say, different regions as well, and they have different security mechanisms. You want to handle that. You want to integrate security with different third-party mechanisms and all that. So all those things can be routed. Like first of all, when request comes to your service, let's say your service name is xyz.com. Somebody request on this and the reverse proxy will actually filter out or first of all execute the security aspects and all that. and then it will go ahead and do the where it has to route to the appropriate location of the server, actually appropriate location. Now, this is not the only job of reverse proxy. Reverse proxy is also able to handle the scale of the traffic also. So now, as and when this traffic is quite high, so you can have some attack as well, which can be mitigated via reverse proxy, which is security layer, and then it can route your request to different locations in a, I would say, in a when the traffic is huge on your website, so it can route the traffic based on your available locations of your servers or available IPs of your servers as well. So that routing is pretty easy. So these are the capabilities that I'm talking about. So okay, so whosoever system has these capabilities, those are basically known as reverse proxy systems. Now we'll talk about API Gateway. API Gateway is a specialized, I would say, tool which has the capabilities of reverse proxy by default, but it has some more capabilities which are required for managing our API as well, which are bound to be called from your clients actually. So let's say you have a UI application which is calling the backend application. Now, reverse proxy is fine. This is a front door. Now, after that, you want to manage your APIs as well, who is actually going to APIs, whether they are authenticated or not. Then you want to manage their versioning also, and then monitor your usage as well. So, all those things, which is actually done by the specialized tool, which is on the API gateway. Now, let's write points for API gateway. All reverse proxy points plus API security versioning, and then you have your request response management, and then what can you say, you have your orchestration transformation, all those things which are happening. Then there are different low level patterns also which are being used, which are related to rate limiting, throttling as well. So all these capabilities are part of API gateway. So if you are building a system which is having all these capabilities, you want the capabilities of reverse proxy also and all these things, so then it is an API gateway. So when you say API gateway, it means it will act as a proxy also, it will act as a API gateway also by default, because that will have all those features. So this is the major difference between reverse proxy and the API gateway. Now, can we use it in same systems? Are those recommended? Yes, you can use it. Are those recommended? Yes, in some cases we may have to use to add the more security in our system, considering the complex domain that we are working in and the complexity of the demography also that we are working in for that specific product that we are building. So let's say now let's go to the use case. So now let's say you have a sorry, you have an e-commerce website, so where you have different capabilities, like you can search the product, you can buy, you can I would say uh, reward system and all that stuff. So there are different things happening inside this. So now and different, so now there is a UI application of it. Now there is UI part which is actually on different client. Now there are mobiles also and there are web applications as well. I'm talking about only web for now. So let's say you are talking a website. So as and when there are many customers who are visiting your website. So let's say talk about Amazon. Now for Amazon, you go to Amazon.com or any of the Amazon domains. So you have to, so you go to the website. It's not about that has a application that is being hosted on a server and that server directly you are hitting. No, it's not like that. So there is a proxy in between which is acting as a security layer. Okay, now that proxy is basically doing your security check based on your IP or any other WAF requests and all that security checks that happen. So I'm not gonna go in detail of that for now, but these are the overall high level things that happens there when you do go to Amazon. So it happens the security check, then it sees from where it is, where you are coming. So if you are coming from this location, where you should go, so based on your geography and all that, so then it will start the routing process. So then it will go to the routing process. So it has routing rules also. So if you are going to this, you have this location and all that, so then you will be navigated to this XYZ server or whatever. So it is acting as a load balancer also here. So load balancer, security, routing, all those things are happening in the proxy. Once all these things are validated, then your request lands onto the UI application of Amazon, wherever it is, web server is hosted. So that server is hit and the requested content is fetched, and you get the website which is actually has to be shown to you. Now, after that, you search, you buy anything, you do all those stuff which needs backend integration also. So, this is your UI application. When you now send a new request for API and all that, so you click on search. So the request comes here, and the proxy basically does the all those checks again, the security and the routing. Now here, the routing part plays a bit different role. Now routing will happen to the API side. Now API side will have an API gateway. It will have its own security mechanism, like the authentication, blah blah blah, and all that. And then it will have rate limiting and stuff. And then it will have the uh, metrics of API and all that. Once, so all these things are handled by the API gateway. Now, request comes to API gateway. API gateway has to route the request to specific service to fetch the data also. So these are the capabilities of API gateway, which API gateway itself manages. So now let's say service A is actually bringing you the data, or let's say when you are buying a new product, you are searching anything. So different services are basically talking to each other. Now at that point of time, there are different patterns also being used if you are worked in microservices and all that. Now here you can follow microservices, you can follow a REST application where all your APIs are in one project itself. So it's up to you what kind of architecture style and what kind of patterns you are following. So until this point, until we before service A, everything is I have talking about is the architecture components when you use which you use when you deploy your application. Sorry, anywhere in the on cloud or on premises anywhere. Now when we go to service A, how you have to structure your application and which architecture you have to use. So all those things comes into the architecture patterns, styles, and application development and all that stuff. So this is what is about the proxy and the reverse proxy and the API gateway. Now there are different vendors who are actually providing you these services. Now let's say you can build a reverse proxy. You have different level of or different types of reverse proxies coming in, like HA proxy, and different types of API gateways also coming in, like which are provided by the vendors like AWS, Azure, and you can create your own API gateway via Spring Cloud as well. So all those things are available. Now, considering the security metrics, attack vector of your application, criticality of your application, it's you as an architect or as a engineer, you need to understand which one you have to use in which layer and which one is more critical for your application and use case. So this is about reverse proxy and the API gateway on the high level, and when to use which one and what are their features. So I hope you like the content. If you do like the content, do subscribe to the channel and share with your friends to get more, to share the knowledge, and at the same time subscribe to our channel so that we keep on bringing you the meaningful content and we also keep on getting the motivation. Thank you everyone.